All right, we are live. Hello, everyone, and thank you all for joining us here tonight on another episode of Touching You podcast, hosted by the amazing Eldris Sheila Black. Thank you again, and shout out to her for allowing this opportunity and platform for us to just come on and, share a little bit of our experience and our walk with Christ. Today, we've got a super special episode for you. We got a special guest here, Taria Abernathy. She's so awesome and amazing. I just knew, ever since I started doing the podcast, I knew that she was gonna be my guest soon and eventually. And so happy that she's able to actually come on and join us here today. Um, here, I'm not gonna hold up and use all the words and everything to describe this awesome, amazing, special person right here. So again, introducing to some and reintroducing to others, we have the amazing Taria Abernathy. You want to tell them about yourself and introduce yourself?
Uh, Apparently, I'm amazing, but
Yep.
Taria Abernathy, born and raised in Stone Mountain, Georgia. I usually just say I'm from Atlanta because that's the city that everyone knows, but it's a little small town, a little small city outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Um, I'm project manager, so managing things on the day-to-day basis for trade show and events. Background in theater, so I'm using both my left side and my right side of my brain daily. And I moved to Dallas for work, and then I've just stayed. I feel like I found a home in Dallas. I found a lot of home people that I spend a lot of my life with, and continuing to just walk in my journey here in Dallas. So.
Okay, we love to hear that. Came down to Dallas, and I think that was actually around the time that we met. Like, as soon as you hit Dallas, and I actually had just recently moved back to Dallas as well. Um, of course, small background about myself. I was in Houston for a little while, went to college, spent some time in Houston after graduation, and then I moved back here around 3 years ago, which happened to be around the time that you also moved here as well. We connected on things, again, we both work in project management. We got a lot to talk about when it comes to the world of project management. But, we're not going to dig into so much work today. We want to talk about how life can really just be a breeze. That can be, it's a lot of ways to interpret what that can mean. For some people, life being a breeze can mean that, there was a lot of wind, and then, maybe it was a lot of in other ways, wind is good for some people and wind is bad for others. I
Right.
guess, depending on where you're from, what your background is,
Yeah.
and things of that sort.
Yeah.
So let's go talk a little bit about that. But before we jump into that, I got some fun things first. We want to do a Bible trivia question, catch you off guard real quick, kind of lighten up the mood, get some laughs and giggles going on. So first, I got a Bible trivia question where I'm gonna do a quick round of just a Bible trivia question, and then I'm gonna go from there and do a fill in the verse game, and then lastly, we'll do a what would you do, and then we'll do that at the end as well.
Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
first we got the Bible trivia question, and the first question that I'm gonna hit you with is, what fruit did Eve eat? I'm sorry. What fruit did Eve eat at the Garden of Eden?
Oh, Apple.
All right, so I'm almost certain that'll probably be everybody's answer. That I almost honestly would have been mine as well. But did you know that the Bible actually only says that she ate the fruit, forbidden fruit? It doesn't actually
You
say
know
apple.
what?
Yeah.
I was just about to say, I was like, dang, what if it was like a nectarine or something? You
Yeah,
could
yeah.
like,
It actually, yeah, it never says apple, but it does just say fruit.
you know, that's crazy because look, now I'm going down a rabbit hole in my
Yeah.
mind. I'm like, what's wrong about an apple? I got apple sitting over here right now, and I'm like, was
Mhm.
it the color red? Like, red for danger, and they,
Right, like why they chose to say apple? Maybe
huh?
because of the tree. Maybe it's because it's a tree.
Oh yeah, apple tree. You know what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
I don't know. That's a good deal.
right.
I'll probably go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, we got to write
But
that. Yeah, we're
in Genesis 3:3, it actually only just says fruit. It doesn't say
gonna.
apple.
That's okay. You know what? I learned a little something today, and now
Yeah, yeah. crazy.
Huh. Okay.
All right, the next one here we got fill in the verse or fill in the blank. Um, or essentially I'm gonna start a Bible verse and then you just complete it. This
Okay.
is an all-time favorite. You probably gonna know it before I even get it. You probably knows what I'm gonna say here. Verse. This is the day that the Lord has made. Dot dot dot.
I will rejoice and be glad in it.
Come on now. Look, all saints know that one.
Okay.
We will rejoice and be glad in it. Come on now.
Okay. Okay. We got it. Got it. I
All
am.
right.
I'm. What is it? 1 for 2. I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
one.
You want for two. You want for two. And then the last one here. What would you do?
Okay.
So, this is the
And
funny
now,
one.
question before you start. Question
Mhm.
is what I Taria would do, or
Yeah.
if I was trying to be like Jesus,
Yeah,
would
no. So what? Yeah, what would you do then, Taria Abernathy?
I?
What would
Okay.
you?
Okay. Okay.
All right. So if you were one of the disciples and Jesus told you to walk on the water, would you step out on the boat? Step out off the boat.
So I can't swim. So I'd be like, you sure, Jesus? Like, you
Jesus,
sure? Like,
Jesus, what?
I, I, I feel like the biblical times, like they were always like crossing rivers and like
Mhm.
going. In my mind, they all knew how to swim. So,
Maybe they did have, yeah, yeah,
so for him to say, he's like, that's fine. I'm gonna just swim back to the shore.
yeah.
To react to that, however,
You know,
I, you know, I think I would be hesitant for sure. I
yeah,
would be
yeah,
hesitant of like
yeah,
that water, like
yeah.
you sure, Big G. But like I think faith
Mm-hmm.
makes you do some things that
But you normally
that
wouldn't.
you not even that you don't want to do, but more like that you're unsure of. And I'm like,
That's good. Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
we relate a lot of things back to project management and like we like to plan. We like to know what the plan is. We like to know how to execute.
Right.
And I think faith definitely brings that portion of the uncertainty because it's certain elsewhere. God knows,
Yeah,
but we
yeah,
don't know. And it's like, okay, but are you sure? He's like, I'm sure. And
yeah.
so you have to just be able to say, okay, like I believe in God enough to know that He's got me. Like, He is in control. He's gonna catch me if I fall. And even if it is
Come on.
me falling into this water, maybe I won't sink
But
to the
you know
bottom.
you can't
And,
swim.
right, and I know I can't swim. Maybe I won't sink to the bottom and get eaten by a shark. Like maybe
Yeah.
like a dolphin or something. Like something's gonna help. Something's gonna get me to where I need to be because of
It
faith.
is.
So,
Mm.
I, me as Taria Abernathy, I'm going to be hesitant, but I will put one foot in front of the other.
You are gonna step out on that thing.
I'm gonna step out on it. So
That's what I was talking about. So, hey, you gonna step back, but I may not float on top of the water as long as Peter did. But
yeah,
I'd be happy if I float just for a little bit.
for a little bit,
Just for a
like
little, hey, Jesus, you said it. Hey, you
you
said
said
it.
it was good.
Hey, that's all I need right there. But not really though, like stepping out on not necessarily our own faith, but like or not our certainty. Like you said, you stepping out on this on Jesus' certainty
Right,
and
right.
not necessarily your own. Yeah,
And
that's the
like he wouldn't again. And there's definitely been some lessons in life of kind of like deciphering voices, because it very
Mhm.
well, sometimes you're like, oh, I'm going to do this. And you had a voice in your head that told you
Oh,
to do
that's
it. But,
good. Yeah, yeah.
sometimes it's you, and sometimes it's not God telling you to do
That's
that.
dope. Yeah.
So when you're like deciphering voices and you know it's his voice, like out of all the other voices, all the other things that have been said, and you know it's him, he's like, all right, okay, I
Nah,
gotta do this. Like
that's good.
it wasn't just me. It wasn't just like my friend of a friend told me this was cool. It's like, no, God told you to move, so we gotta
Yeah,
move. So
that's good.
yeah,
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 yeah. That's
yeah.
good. Look, now we already on this faith wave. So we might as well just stay
Just
on
keep
that real quick.
rolling.
Yeah, look. So we're gonna talk a little about faith and personal journey. Um, so you spoke a little bit about faith and using your faith to kind of step out again on Jesus's certainty rather than your own.
Yeah.
Um, has there ever been or how? let me just start over here. How has your personal journey of personal faith journey began, and how has it evolved over time? So when and where did it begin, and how has it evolved over time?
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay. So I want to take it back to like, and I know everyone has their own different walk, but
Mhm,
my parents are faithful human beings. They love
mhm,
God. My grandparents on both sides um,
yes,
were the same. They both loved God. They both went to church. You know, they were both like, pillars of Christianity.
mhm,
And, so I'd been growing up and been going to church, and especially when I was a child. So
mhm.
I think that's kind of like it's a start, but it's not a start. It wasn't like it was
Right,
a start
yeah,
and
yeah.
then the button wasn't pressed yet because I knew who God
Mm,
was and I knew what church was and I knew,
mm.
you know, the Jesus loves me. Yes, I know. Like those songs
Come on now,
in
yeah,
high
yeah.
school. But I think I didn't like start my walk until like 2020 for sure. Like, so I would say like my adult walk.
Okay.
Just because I, 2020 was, that was COVID time. Like everybody was
Mhm.
locked in the house. Like everybody was like, you really had to face yourself during that time because there wasn't,
Yeah,
things to distract you. You weren't
yeah.
going out. You weren't hanging out. Like it was you and you. And for myself, I had just moved to so yeah, 2020. I just moved to Kentucky. So this is my
Okay.
not my first time living outside of the state, but it was my first time like actually renting an apartment somewhere else outside of Georgia, and so I was alone. I didn't have any
Mhm.
friends. I didn't
Yeah.
have any family. We were all inside, like I was working from
Yes,
home. So it was
yeah,
me, the guinea pig at the
yeah,
time. So I think
yeah.
there were some things that came up in life where I really had to face myself. And
Mhm.
I, and this isn't like, I feel like I haven't really told this story before, but I didn't like myself at that time. I did not like who
Mm.
I was. I didn't like some of the things that I was going through.
Yeah,
And I really just had a moment where I was like, okay, like I need to get into the word. I think it's crazy
yeah.
how many things that you can like turn to when you're going through something.
Um,
Like you could turn to, like, watching stuff on TV or the
yeah.
bottle or the club or
Mhm.
like there's so many devices that you can turn to.
Yeah.
But like I was like, all right, I'm gonna just try, you know, watching some sermons online. Like I again, 2020, different state, didn't have a church home.
Yeah.
During that time I just found Social Dallas on YouTube. So that's Pastor Robert Madu and his wife Taylor, and I
Mhm.
started watching that for that time. I think I've evolved in kind of like what I watch online, but I started watching them, and they really captured me during that time. And I felt like it was
Mhm.
consistent, me wanting to be in the Word, me wanting to listen to um, like a relatable sermon, and then from there, I just decided that, okay, like it's not so much as a want or so much of a distraction. I think when you first start,
Mm.
it's like a distraction.
Yeah.
Like instead of hating myself, let me read the Bible. Instead of hating, this, let me, read the scripture. But it's
Mm.
you slowly learn to love yourself and love who you are, love who God created you to be, who
Mm.
God created around you. You start
Yeah.
getting the connection
That's good.
through your walk. Um, and so I think that's how it kind of
Yeah,
started
that's
for
good.
me.
Yeah.
Like me reading Bible plans and like, trying to build self-esteem again, trying to
Mm.
build up a better relationship with the God that I knew but didn't know, if that makes sense.
That's good.
So
Yeah, you hit
yeah.
it. Nah, that's really good. That's yeah, you hitting just you're going out just a little bit. It's
Oh, it's probably because I'm shaking. My bad. I'm
no,
sorry.
it's the screen is like blacking out and then coming back on every now and
Yours
then.
too.
Oh, okay. That's all right. Okay. I'm hoping that it's hopefully our messages are still clear though.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not getting any. I'm getting comments here. Everyone seems like everything's still rolling smooth. So we'll
Okay.
just yeah
Okay.
with the look. We got the thumbs up. God is
Thumbs up.
pleased.
Yeah.
He said
Thumbs
she
up.
yeah. Okay. I got a comment. It's good on that end. So I think we're good. Okay.
Let me
So
see.
no, perfect, man. I think you're hitting it right on, man. You know that faith walk. it's a beautiful thing, especially like you said, when you were having your moments where maybe you didn't really feel as, I would hate to just hear you say that you didn't like yourself. I hate to hear that. You're so likable. You're an
Yeah.
amazing
Oh,
person. Um, but I can get that, right, where you're just in a place where the things just don't connect or don't make sense, and
right.
then as you're walking that walk, just it's those small answers just start to come in. It's like where before nothing could have made sense, and
Right.
where it's like only one thing and one person, one connection is gonna make these things
Yeah.
connect. You know what I'm saying? And like for me, like sometimes a easy answer is just like, nah, it's fake or it's God, and it just
Yeah.
it connects the dots for me, like,
Yeah.
or it gives me that calmness where it's God.
Yeah.
I don't need to dig in. I don't need to keep
Yeah.
trying to figure out why. No,
Yeah.
it's God
Yeah.
said.
And just the peace you get from that, like
Yeah, it's God.
there is after when you listen to a good sermon, especially when it's online, you get to like. So the job that I worked in before project management, like, was stationary. I didn't have to talk to a lot of people. I could put on a podcast or listen to like a sermon for hours,
Mhm.
and I didn't have to like break away from work to
Yeah.
do it. So at that time, I was, going hard with like listening to podcasts and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And it's you can have out your notebook over here and you got your Bible over here. You like highlighting and you like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, and the stuff starts connecting, and those are the best moments because
Hey.
what I like is kind of like the study, like the deep dive. I'm like, oh, well, Jesus said it, and you got to turn 50 pages to get there
Right,
and
right, right. Yeah.
before and after. So yeah, there is a I guess that's a word for it, but there is a love or a passion that comes with discovery in Christ. So
Come on,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. Come
yeah,
on now. That's
yeah,
good. And then like I just real quick before I hit on this other
yeah,
thing, I was
yeah.
actually listening. You had spoke about podcasts. I was actually listening to this podcast
Mhm.
yesterday,
Yeah.
and it was something I had to write it down because I knew
Ooh,
I wanted to talk about it and bring it up here.
let's go.
And he said, um he was like, man, we have to thank God for small. And then he went into saying how like God will not give you too much
Mm,
because he knows that too much may hurt you or kill you. But and
right.
he'll start small. So like even like we talk about the things that maybe you kind of forced to relate, but like even your faith walk, it starts small,
Yeah.
and then you grow your faith.
Yeah.
Maybe if you just came in full fledged, that I'm gonna walk on water. Maybe you're not ready to
Right.
walk on water yet,
Maybe you're not ready for that. Maybe
maybe
you
you're
can't
not,
swim.
yeah,
You know.
maybe you need some more time, in
Yeah.
your word, and then
Yeah.
God says,
Yeah.
come on,
Yeah.
it's time, to
Yeah.
walk on that water now,
I
and
like that.
that's yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that's in a lot of things, maybe with a ministry, something you can't come out and then just hit
Yeah.
hard on
Yeah.
things all the time, it's a walk. And in his thing, he hit on talking about, water, simply just water, right?
Yeah.
If enough water will hydrate you.
Mm,
Therefore, it'll be plentiful and for nourishing for your body. But
right.
too much water will kill
Drown
you.
you.
It will drown you.
Dang. Oh,
It's two sides to that.
yeah.
Like there's
Yeah.
just enough water
Just
will
enough water.
hydrate you and will bless
I
you
have
to
to write that
live
down.
plentiful life. Yeah, but too much water will literally kill you. You know.
But
So I just, man, it was a
I
blessing through that, man.
yeah.
We gotta thank God for those small things.
And I think that the evolution that comes with your walk, again, like thanking God for the
Mhm.
small moments, again, that sometimes it's hindsight small moment that you didn't realize
Come on.
back when it was happening.
Behind the
So
scenes.
there's a song, and I don't know if anybody is on the from the the playlist or has listened to the playlist from the women's conference this year. Like I really do enjoy like music and like
Mhm.
crossing the bridge with faith and music. But there's a song um that's called Evidence, and I'm gonna look up who it's by. I think I'm gonna hate it. I can't remember her. I think it's Naomi Rain and Elevation
Okay.
Worship.
Okay.
But she sings, we've got evidence. We are the living proof that God keeps His promises. And yeah, it just sounds like she's just chancing it for like a long time. And it was a song that I put on my playlist like for a very long time, and I had never like listened all the way through. But
Mm.
it wasn't until like for a couple of weeks ago, I just put it on and like kept it on. And I was like, dang, like we are the proof. Like we are the evidence that God is good every single
Ooh.
day.
Ooh.
And
Ooh.
there was moments where, again, just going back to moments where I didn't like myself. There's moments where you look at other people's lives and you're like, dang, like God is really blessing them. Like hey,
Yeah.
they got this new
Yeah.
job, they got this new house, they are, traveling, they are doing this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then you think, like, well, dang, like why not me? And the proof that I didn't have at the time was like, well, just because they got a new job, it doesn't mean that God was, it doesn't mean that God was
Mm.
blessing them, but also just the fact that I woke up this morning and was breathing and could go to the bathroom, it could go to work
Come
and
on.
be in the car that I have to go to
Come
work,
on.
that was a blessing too, you know? And I,
What so was there well, I'm sorry to cut you off.
no,
What
no, no.
was there something
Yeah.
that like was that proof moment for you, or was it like, again, that on the theme of small blessings or big
Yeah.
blessing or whatever it is, right? Like
Yeah.
what was that moment where it was like, nah, yeah, this is
I don't think it was like an event that happened. I think that song really did kind of
yeah,
like click for me. And again, that was a couple of weeks ago, you know what I mean? But I think I knew this before, but it was one of those existential moments where you're like
that
outside of your mind.
moment of acknowledgement,
You're
yeah.
like, oh man, like we are every
Wow.
day is proof, like every breath is a proof, is the promise that was kept, like you're still going.
Yeah.
And it was I like little old school sayings, but there's a little old school saying in Alabama that was like, um, if God is blessing your neighbor, be grateful and be happy because that means He's in the neighborhood. And I said,
Come on now. Nah, that's a good
I
one. That's a
said,
good one. Yeah. My
so
dad
every
actually says
time
that. Yeah.
the
That's
neighbor,
a good
so every time I see somebody getting blessed, especially
one.
even if they're not, my personal friend or associate or something like that, if it's somebody I know is, around me, that's the neighborhood. Okay,
Come on now.
that's the
Yeah.
cul-de-sac. Like
And
he
being happy
close.
for them, right?
You
Yeah.
gotta be happy for them, but he
Yes,
is in the
sir.
neighborhood. It's coming, and it may not be in the form of hitting the lottery. It may not be in the form of, um, getting a big promotion or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe it's in the form of the fact that, like, them crazy wins that we had in Dallas, and everybody, your plane made it safely.
Hey,
Okay,
come on now. Yeah.
your patio furniture was still
Come
in.
on now.
Or
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
car windows weren't busted out. All
Bills
those
paid.
bills were paid.
Come
Okay, you
on.
woke up and
Yo.
look, you flicked the lights came on. That's kind of like, whew. I used to be like, old people be thanking God for everything. They be like, whew, my toes cracked. Thank you, Jesus. I be
That old face,
like,
boy.
calm down. But now as you get older, you're like, dang, like I could. There are people right now who lost legs, lost
Yeah.
arms, lost
Yeah. Yeah.
mobility and stuff, and so you start to
Yeah.
think how precious some of those things are. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, it's good. And also I just it's crazy you hit on that because that's another thing that I think about too. Is like
Mhm.
we're now, getting amongst that age. I'm
Mhm.
31, you're 30, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of things happening around us to people that we grew up with,
Right.
or that it's the same age as us,
Yeah.
things that's I know for myself, still speaking for myself, man, my high school, it's I numbers, man, classmates that I know have
Yeah.
gone over,
Yeah.
and and then even college, right?
Hmm.
Even as close as like frat brothers, like it
Yes.
starts to hit home, and it's like, yo, like, no, stuff is really, really happening out here, and you
Yeah.
got to take things serious and be
Yeah.
intentional. Health is
Yeah.
is serious. You
Yeah.
know. And then being serious about your walk. You never know, when your time is up and you don't want to keep pushing it back saying, I'm gonna start tomorrow when you had the opportunity to start today,
That, yeah. I think
because you really just don't know.
that's a hit because I was so when we started talking about like kind of the things that we would talk about today, I feel like we might have strayed away, which is good because I think it's like
Yeah.
super organic for us. But I was thinking about um there was a young lady that I went to high school with, and she was like so sweet. And like our senior year, she got saved. I put like in quick quotation, she got,
Nah, yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
because it was
yeah.
so
Okay,
taboo.
young, yeah,
It was so weird for like 18 year
young,
olds,
son.
17-year-olds. And so she got saved, and she was like, I got saved this weekend. And there was a guy that was in our friend group, and he was like, wow, like I really admire that about you. He's like, I'm gonna get saved too. And at this point, it was like 2013, right? So he's like, I'm gonna get saved in 2015. And we was like, hmm?
Oh, he put
We
his
was
time
like,
on
what do you mean? He was
it.
like, oh, like in 2 years, I'm gonna go get saved. He said, I was
That's
like, well, why you waiting so long? And he was saying that he was like, I'm
man.
gonna go do all the things that I know I can't do when I'm a Christian in these next 2 years, and then 2015, I'm gonna get my life together. I was like, I don't think it works like
No, I
that.
didn't work.
I don't think you get to just say, let me go do all crazy things,
Yeah,
and then Father God, I'm back. Like
that's a real thing. That is
it's
a
a,
real
it's
mindset, though. Like some
a thought
people,
process.
not even some maybe say it like this. That's crazy that he said it to you.
Who,
But
who
others,
does
on a day to day
I hope he
basis,
said
just like tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow. I'll
yeah, I'll
do
start tomorrow. I'll
tomorrow.
be intentional about this tomorrow. Or I will
I'm start
it's
going to church next month.
yeah.
Yeah.
And, or even I'm not saying go out and like immediately tomorrow go sit in somebody's church and then that's
Right.
your church home. But it's like starting your like we just talked about,
No,
starting your
wow.
walk, start small, like go church. I call it church dating. If you don't have a church home, and this is my PSA for like everybody watching, if you don't have a church home, find 5 churches in 20-minute radius from you, and you got 4 Sundays in a month. Like you better go hit them all and
Yeah.
write your
Yeah.
checklist and say, I like this sermon, I like the people, I like the community, the air smelled good in there, it wasn't cold, so, like write your list and say, okay, I want these things in a church, and then go out and find that. I think a lot of people shy away from church because it is hard. It is hard to find, one, all your grandiose things that you want in a church, but it's hard um to just decide, and so people just don't. And
Yeah.
they, it's essentially giving up something. It's giving up a Saturday or
Right.
Sunday,
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Yeah.
giving up the freedom to do whatever you.
Mhm.
Church ain't got to be at
Right.
one, two,
No,
three. There are churches that start at 6 p.m. If y'all want to go find a church that starts at 6 p.m. on Sunday,
that is true.
they have. Shoot, I go to the 9. I go to the 9 and
9 a.m. Man.
10:30. Okay, like you can find what it is, but most importantly, it's finding a shepherd that you want to be led by, like
Yeah.
going and listening to the word and saying, okay, I could understand the Bible the way they described it to me, or the way this sermon was led.
Yeah.
It spoke to me, and those are going, and that's what you gravitate towards. So that's my
No,
sub
good.
PSA for church date. Go get you a church,
You
okay?
get to a change. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Yeah. Can't good. Look, pushing it back. But you did hit on that. It almost is like investing. Once you do find yourself a
Yeah,
church day, you're technically invested into it now.
yeah, yeah.
You giving up. Maybe what you would have been doing for 3 hours or 2 hours on that Sunday.
Hmm.
Before you decided to go to a church.
Right.
So
Yeah.
now investing that time in another way, but it's in the best way.
Right.
And
It's
I ain't gonna act
never a
like
waste
I
of time.
just, was always a trooper for it. I used to have my Sundays where I wanted to chill at the house too, but
Yeah.
you know,
And then I
yeah,
feel like it was probably a little different for you because
yeah, yeah, you're right, yeah,
you
yeah,
was
that too,
you had the car is leaving and you will be in this car, sir. Like
yeah,
and not that that was your upbringing, but just the
yeah.
thing.
No, what, they what,
My
It
Like
was.
my parents weren't on any staff or anything like
Mhm.
that, and I think it's probably something that maybe we don't, even us, maybe we don't talk about enough. But like we, my parents actually church dated a lot when we had moved to our new home in Stone Mountain, and there were a couple of churches I remember going to until we picked one. Um, we went there for a little while, and then I wasn't in grown folks' business at that time, so but we stopped going to that church,
Right.
but we didn't stop going to church, if that made sense. So
Yeah.
for
Okay. Yeah.
us, we would sit and we would make breakfast every Sunday, and we would sit at the table and we would read the Bible. Like we would pick a random verse and read through it.
Nice. Yeah.
Or me and my brothers would volunteer to say, "Hey, I want to know about Ruth. Like, I don't know nothing about Ruth." Like, and so
Yeah.
it would be our task for the week to find Bible verses or find like some type of um, like
Huh.
scripture lesson that we could
Yeah.
talk to on Sunday. And that was our table Bible, and we did that for
That's
years, and
pretty
up
good.
until I
Yeah.
went to college. So yeah, yeah,
I think that's pretty cool. I can imagine that also, right? Like again, right? That your walk with Christ with having a community, two or three together, God is in the mix,
yeah,
walking that
yeah,
walk with other believers,
yeah,
that it makes that walk a little easier. It makes it I don't know, it's just something about faith and community, right? Like
yeah,
I guess that's
yeah,
essentially what church is for, right? To have the
yeah,
community to walk that walk with
yeah,
you. And y'all
yeah.
essentially had that. I can imagine that did wonders for the family, you
I think
know,
it
building
was
that
building building
foundation of faith,
that,
right, with the family.
yeah,
Yeah, heck yeah.
yeah, building that faith together, but also being able to say, like, I think my parents were always like, okay, well, what does that mean to you? Like you would read it, and as a
Making
13-year-old,
you think for
like,
yourself too, though. That's
yeah,
yeah.
you're like, okay, he got eaten by a shark, like he got eaten by a whale, and it's like,
Yeah,
okay, what was the lesson? You're like, was there a lesson? Like you
yeah,
had
you got you
your
guys right.
your
Yeah.
responsibility to one think harder, but also
Oh,
like
yeah.
try to understand where it was going in
Mm.
relation to your journey to Christ. And obviously,
Yeah.
like I said, not a lot of now it stuck because I remember the like family quality moments of it, but now I'm like reading back through like small lessons that I led when I was like 15,
Ah,
16,
yeah.
like, oh, I ain't know nothing. I ain't
Hey.
know, I ain't know what these
Uh,
scriptures was. I ain't going through nothing to know what these scriptures were about.
Yeah, but I think you hit on that earlier though, right? When you said that, yeah, you grew up
Yeah,
kind of, you always knew God,
yeah,
you
yeah,
always kind of knew the things, but
yeah,
there was a moment when it was for real for you as an
yeah,
adult, right? And
yeah,
I feel you that 100%. Like you said, my upbringing is just a tad bit different, My
yeah,
dad was pastor, preacher, and everything. So I was in church, I had to do the Sunday school, I had to do all the drill team, the praise dance, mom, etc. All those things, but still I still agree with that 100%, right? There was a moment to where it became something different from
real.
what I was told to go do to when
Mm.
I was like I'm choosing to go do, and
Right.
that's when my walk became
Yeah,
for real for me, right?
yeah,
And thank God that I had, a family that introduced me to God. I think that's another thing that I pray about. I
yeah,
thank God that I had a
yeah,
family who introduced me to
yeah,
this amazing, wonderful thing,
yeah,
that has made me in this wonderful world.
yeah.
And now I'm old enough to want to go and find those things about that being
Hmm.
for myself, And like now I know, like, nah, that's God,
Yeah.
man.
And bring it to other people. Like the testament of you being able to
Right.
like be on the podcast, host it, and talk to people about Christ, like that is it it it's one of those moments where it's like I'm finding it, I found
Mhm.
it, now I want to share it with everybody else.
Yeah,
And not
yeah.
and there's always a way that you can share it. I think you've had a couple of guests actually who very much share their faith journey in a different way. Like they share it and
Mhm.
it's tailored to how they share it.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is, right? Huh? It's a little different every time, right? Some
Yeah.
is Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah,
the music
it's super
like the music producer, he's sharing music. He's building
right.
his journey through music.
Mm,
You
that's
got
really
even
good.
with the fathers when you had your episode. Obviously, I be watching, so I'm a fan. But
Nah, you mind you like, dang, yeah, we did.
like even the fathers
Yeah.
being on there and them sharing their spiritual journey with their kids or like what they want to share with their kids
Right,
growing up.
right.
I think that's the start of like building that community and building that like
Mm.
army of Christ. So yeah.
Is there a like a thing that you go to or do um when maybe it's hard to find or be or have faith? Like or do you have moments where like for me, right? Sure, I'll tell you right now, my fight and my current faith right now has been just work, man. It's project management can be heavy, it
Yeah.
can be so heavy, and it takes a lot of your time, it takes a lot of your brain muscle.
Yeah.
And when you're done with work, man, it's hard to want to give that energy to anything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
um Especially when it's not, for work, is that's what's keeping the lights on and keeping everything going. So
I gotta
you
do
know
that.
I gotta keep this smile on my face, and I gotta give the best I have. And then
Yeah.
outside of that, it's kind of like you want everyone to understand how heavy your day's been.
Yeah.
But then it's like, nah, you find those ways to still have the faith and know that the same energy I give here, I need to give that here. I need to nurture this relationship. I need to still, again, like you said, with the father podcast we had, they
Mhm.
spoke about where, yeah, you still gonna have a hard day, but you come home and have a
And there's
child
a
that you have
kid.
to give that
Yeah.
same energy to.
Yeah.
So do you have a thing that kind of gives you that springboard of energy when you
Yeah.
maybe don't want to find that energy for having faith?
So two things. One being like totally relatable on, and I definitely had this moment yesterday, so it's funny. But um, so project management work itself is just heavy, and
um,
it's so easy. And I feel like this is probably another reason why people don't kind of gravitate towards going to church or doing something
um,
on Sunday, because I just did something for 5 days straight and I
yeah,
want to sit at the house.
yeah, yeah.
And so sometimes when you get involved, like really involved in the community of church,
Mhm.
it is a second job, but the
Yeah.
difference is that you like this and that this is for like it's literally for the Lord. Like not that everything you do
Mm,
isn't unto the
yeah.
Lord, but like that is literally serving the Lord. So
Mm,
I serve on the photography team at my church, Covenant Church in Carrollton, and I also just recently, being yesterday, joined the camera team. And so
that's
I was
so
nervous, I was overwhelmed. I was like, "Dang, I don't work so hard all week. Now I got to go work and do something else." And what really like I was very overwhelmed, and then we had these little headsets and
mm,
a team of people and we're all talking in a headset, and there's one of the directors, like he was like, "I'm gonna pray real quick," like, and he prayed. I've seen him pray
mm,
before, it's
yeah,
not like it's anything different, but his prayer yesterday was like so good and so calming. I was like, "Oh
that's
Lord,
good. Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
let me go turn
yeah.
these cameras on." And I felt, and it feels good to one do something that you, for me, I do love photography and videography, so I was dipping my toes into something creative, which is my background. But there's a little extra oomph when it's for the Lord, when
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
sharing. Like my focus yesterday was on the instruments, and so
Mhm.
I was doing video for the pianist and the guitarist and the guy doing the I'm not quite sure what that instrument is called, but like it's like the organ, but he had it all hooked up to extra backdrop beats and stuff like that. But like watching those people share their talent or their craft with
Mhm.
God, and then me whew, it was
Mm,
it was
yeah,
beautiful. Like I think
yeah.
that's the thing that kind of gives me that spark after, because I'm like, okay, I know I didn't want to get up, you
Right,
know,
right,
I
yeah,
got
yeah.
up, I got blessed to
Come
get
on,
up, and then I
got
got
up.
blessed to go and watch somebody else give their talents to the Lord while I was also giving my talent to. It's like everyone's giving their talent to the Lord on the same. At the
Mm,
same, it was beautiful. So that's one. It's also so it's one is serving,
okay.
and
Okay.
then two would be music. Like I just there are some beautiful songs and I'm so grateful for the songs that I haven't even discovered yet that are gonna get
Come
me
on.
through some things.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
uh,
yeah. No, for real. Hey.
there are some songs like I there are days where if I don't call you, like I'll turn the lights off and I'll just listen to music. And there's something about everyone kept saying, and I actually heard this a lot on the UN Street Women's Women on the Move on
Mm,
Friday call. Like people kept saying posture of prayer, and I was like, dang, like how you supposed to stand when you pray? You know what I mean? But a lot of people were talking about how you position yourself in prayer. And I don't, sometimes you be sitting in the bed, crisscross applesauce.
mhm,
Like a lot of people, if you're seeing that when you're growing up, people got on their knees and prayed. And I was like, the
okay.
last
Yeah.
time,
Right.
when was the last time I was on the floor? It just in general, like sitting on the floor. And so now I will, if I'm having one of the the lights are off, a candle is on, I got my yoga mat on the ground, just in case I didn't sleep that day. I'm gonna get my yoga mat out and I'm gonna be in that posture of prayer. And it's something about how you position yourself when you come to
Mm,
the Lord sometimes is
mm,
it's a game changer, man. So if
yeah.
y'all got some songs to put on and some candles to light, y'all go talk to the Lord, because I think that is another way to like get me, um, you know, back in in action. Sometimes I just need to cry it out, or sometimes I just need to
Mhm.
listen,
Yeah.
and be still
Yeah.
for a little while and position yourself in that position or that posture of prayer, whatever that may be. I know everyone can't, if sometimes you get down there you can't get up, so I know
Mhm.
everybody can't get on the ground, but being
Come
in
on.
a position where you're humbling yourself in front of the Lord, um, opens you up to like different, to just hear different words sometimes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
songs hit different when the lights off in general, but you got your song on and your candles going and you really are here to just receive. I think that gets me through. So
Yeah. Do you have like a favorite? Well, I guess right now evidence
oh
is that your song right now? No.
mm. So I got two I have
Okay.
something twos, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one would be, if I could be anything. Oh, oof. I think it's House Fires. If I could be anything,
Yes. Yeah. I know you're talking
um,
about.
that would.
Hmm.
Oh, if y'all put that song on,
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
the end of the year, how you do your Spotify wrap up or you do your
Mhm.
Apple Music wrap up. That was my number one for last year, because
Okay.
I think there's a portion at the end of the song where she says, if the chorus is, if I could be anything,
Anything.
you
Yeah.
know,
I wanna be an
I want to be an
offering.
offering.
Oh, come on.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to offer. And then she goes, if I could be anything. And then she goes, as a
Yeah.
matter of fact, I can be anything. I literally
Mm.
can be anything. But I'm
Oh,
choosing
easy.
right now to walk this path so that I can be an offering. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It's not the fact that it was easy. It's not easy. I mean, yeah, it was cool, but like I could do anything in this world, but I want to be an offer. But
Come on. Come on.
I
Hey.
tears, okay? I
Preaching right now.
tears.
Come on,
And
T.
then
Yeah.
the young lady actually put it on Instagram the other day, is "You Know My Name" by Tasha Cobbs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whew.
I do know that song.
That's a good one,
Yeah. I do know my name.
because
Yeah.
how singular it is to feel in a big body of Christ is not,
Mm-hmm.
it sometimes it's non-existent, especially if you go to, I won't say my church is a mega church. We do have a lot of people. I don't think it's a mega church, but we do have
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people that go there. But even sometimes when you're just in a group of people, no matter if it's church or if it's anywhere, it's hard to feel singular. It's always a we and us,
That's
a
true.
gathering.
Yeah.
And then you think to yourself, like, God especially made, like, He took His time and put you together. There is only
Mm-hmm.
one you.
Mm-hmm.
and he knows you by name. Oh man,
Come
that
on, T.
that
Come
yeah,
on.
that song that'll do it. That'll do it. But yeah, those two are definitely my favorites. So
Hey, you
yeah.
started preaching right there.
No.
You did. Yeah, look, this girl say, you know you by name.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Some any unexpected blessings came your way here recently that you just want to just give a shout out for?
Um, you know what? Yes.
Yeah.
So I think we're again hitting back on the like thanking God for the small, like oof, the small. So I have like a dental procedure that I get, and if the insurance was not trying to cover a lot of it, it really wasn't.
Mhm.
I was trying to get, I was seeking a second opinion, just to see whether or not it
Medical
could
bills,
be,
boy.
cheaper. And I was going through my cards earlier today, and I was like,
Mhm.
oh, I forgot I had this like insurance card, like this insurance credit card. And I didn't think about it at
Insurance
that time.
credit card.
I just put it back in, I just put it back in my wallet, going on with my appointment that I have later today. And then the lady called me and was like, "Hey, you're not in network for this appointment." So it like
Hmm.
jumped up to 3 times what it was supposed to be for the price. And that you're my second opinion. So I know if you jumping up,
Ugh, yeah.
everything else is gonna jump up three. So I was just like, you know what, I'll just
Sometimes a
cancel.
lot.
It's fine. But then I thought to myself, I was like, that card I just put back. Sometimes you'll see it. It's like passing a sign on the road. Like you'll
Come
see
on
it in
now.
front of you, and I'm like, I, now this done, the God done put this in front of me. Now I figure out
Look,
how to pay this.
come
So
on now. Look,
just
yeah,
something again, something small. It wasn't like the biggest thing in the world, but like being able to recognize the blessings that are in front of you. I'm like, oh, thank God, because I didn't know how I was gonna do it. Okay, now we know how. Okay, now we know how. So yes, we will take the blessings as we get them. So
yeah, oh,
yeah.
that's really good. I got some more Bible trivia questions for you.
Okay, I'm ready. Hit me.
Had to wait until you got in your groove just so I can
Oh, okay.
catch you off guard. Uh-huh. Are you ready? I
I'm
don't
ready.
think did you went two full. Did you get the last one correct last
I
time?
got the I got the
The
third one. Yeah, so I was two out of three.
You were 2 out of 3. Okay. All
Yeah,
right. So we're gonna see how you gonna be with this one. All right. I'm gonna take it up a notch now. Take it up a
a
notch.
level. Okay.
Uh, all right. What was the first miracle Jesus performed?
Ooh, was it the wine?
Oh, look at you. Let's go. Come on. Come on. That's what's up.
It
I,
was the
I
wine at the
definitely,
wedding. Yes. Yes.
yeah. That's,
Honestly,
yeah.
that's one of my favorite stories of Jesus because Jesus is so funny. I hope y'all read the Bible with a little sense of humor because
Water into wine.
he
Yeah.
said, she said, we don't have, his mother said, we don't have any more wine. And he said, woman, what does this have to do with me? I'm here at the wedding and
I'm
he,
chilling.
I'm chilling.
Look, can
And
you?
he said, you know
Yeah,
what?
yeah. We need you to go with
Let me just do a little miracle real quick. Like,
that.
look, okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Good
Yeah.
job. Girl, I'm gonna clap it up for you. Yeah,
Example,
good
no, wait,
job.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Look, we got a few good commenting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They got it right too. Okay. All right. We're gonna do. We got a little time, so I'm gonna do two of each one of
Oh,
them.
okay, okay.
Let's see. How many books of the Bible, or how many books are in the Bible? I also got this one incorrect, so no hard feelings. Check this one.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I was actually way off.
I don't I don't think I know that. I
Yeah.
don't I don't think I know the answer to that.
All
I
right.
want to
So,
say 16.
okay. Well, no, that is incorrect.
Well, no.
That is not correct.
Okay, what's the number? What's the number?
So there's actually 66 total. 39 in the Old Testament, 27 in the New Testament.
I was wrong.
Yeah, no, I was.
I was way off.
Yeah, y'all don't want to hear what I said.
I had six in there.
Yeah, just know mine was 3 digits.
Oh.
Yeah, I was tripping. Look, oh, look, okay,
That's
look. We got the comments, and they getting it right.
they know.
Yeah, we gotta get look. Okay, got another one here for you. This is
Okay.
where we're doing the. I'm gonna start a Bible verse, and you gotta complete it.
Okay.
I'm taking it up a notch because I also got this one wrong when I was trying to test myself.
Okay.
For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Dot dot dot.
Oh, plans for good and not for evil.
Ooh, that's you know what that might be like the NIV version or something. That might
Yeah,
be.
you know
It's
the
close. That's
it's a
close.
little.
Yeah, that's close. That may be one of those versions. So it's for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you. That's Jeremiah 29:11. So you were close.
I don't
I don't
prosper.
know if I'm yeah. I don't, I'm gonna let you have it because that might be like the NIV. That might be like the teen edition
Right.
or something.
You know, the
Maybe they
2005
worded it like that.
version. This
Yeah, yeah.
what are they? The Gen Z.
The urban Bibles. All right, now here we got another. What would you do?
Okay.
Bible edition.
Hmm.
If you were Noah, what would have been the first animal that you brought onto the ark?
Mm. So one of my favorite animals is a tiger. So
Well, that's
definitely,
my favorite tiger. That's my favorite animal
yeah.
too.
So like, I think I would bring a tiger, but
Okay.
again, to react Nathy, I would be sitting here trying to figure out how he's not gonna eat me this entire time we on the ocean in the flood waters. So will I be scared? Absolutely.
Would you
But
be scared? Yeah.
definitely tiger. You know, like I don't know if you
Tigers
guys
for
have
sure.
like watched, and I say you guys as if you know the people, but
Yeah,
have watched the newer age version of Noah where his wife kind of like puts him to sleep as they're getting on the ark, and I'm like, oh, that's what we need. We need some
yeah.
sleep aid for the
Yeah,
tigers
yeah,
and the
yeah.
lions and the bears. But you know, obviously, I think that it was peace that
Mhm. Yeah.
allowed them to all live and be on that ark for so long
Yeah.
together. But yeah, I
God
know
figured
that
it all out. Yeah,
they were not
God
scared.
figured all that out.
Yeah, like not scared at all. But um, I definitely think that tiger would be my tiger.
Yeah, yeah. I think I would as well. We got some comments saying lions.
Yeah,
So, yeah, we're a cat family over here.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, like tiger. That's funny. I don't think I knew that the tigers were
yeah,
your favorite animal. That's also my favorite animal.
yeah.
My favorite is the white tiger though.
Yeah, same.
Word.
I feel like I knew that though. I feel
Yeah.
like I knew that.
Nah, you tried to copy me. You tried to
I
copy
mean,
me.
probably.
Yeah. All right, we got another WWYD. What would you do? Bible edition. If you were in David's shoes facing Goliath, well, what would have been your battle strategy?
I
Of
just
course,
finished.
David used the nice
Yeah,
slingshot with the rod.
I just finished going through David. I honestly think it's one of my like favorite journeys. Like going all the
Yeah.
way, starting from like Sly all the way up. Like I love
Mm-hmm.
David's journey. Um, what would be my strategy? I don't know. Probably, I'm 5'2", so I feel like I'm going for that. Like if he was 9 foot, I'm taking my little. I'm cutting off his Achilles heel
Yeah,
straight
yeah. Go
bottom.
for the Achilles, huh? That's
Yeah,
smart. You go for the Achilles, man.
now
That's a strategy.
knock him down. That way,
Yeah.
he's rendered useless. But yeah, that was
That is a
dark.
strategy, bro. That's a pretty good strategy, though. Yeah, I mean,
I
it's a
think
big
that
guy. Yeah, go for the Achilles. That's yeah,
yeah, I'm going low. I'm going low. So
yeah,
yeah,
that's good. Yeah, me,
yeah.
he probably took me out. I'm going straight up with him. I ain't gonna lie to you. Yeah, I'm going.
I
Yeah, we going straight.
honestly
I. We going there.
see you can't do eye to eye though, because he was like, no,
Facts.
but
The
what you gonna
story in the Bible of the great cow, where he went down with a fight.
I mean, but
Went
you
down with
didn't
a
have to
fight.
go down though.
You're right. You're
You
right.
know?
He looked Goliath straight in his eyes.
You had to climb up there though to look at me.
No, but yeah, the only the great Goliath with
Yeah,
God's
yeah,
assessment will make that happen.
yeah.
Here's another just fun one here. We're here at the last few minutes before we close it out.
Yeah.
Um, First, I want to thank everyone for joining us. It was a great episode here with the amazing Tyria Abernathy. We had an amazing time talking about some good stuff, walking our journeys and things. Here, again, thank you all for joining us on the Touching You podcast. Want to do another shout out to Eldra Sheila Black again for having us. Before we close out, Tyria, if you could have dinner with any biblical feature or figure, I don't know why I'm messing up all these words. If you could have dinner with any biblical figure besides Jesus, who would you have? Yeah, see, I think that would have been the easy answer. So,
Jesus.
yeah, yeah. So, if you could have dinner with any biblical figure, who would it be? That's where we close it out with.
Well, you know what? I feel like the second one's easy. Eve, girl, what was going on? Like,
What
what?
was you doing?
What? Now that I know it wasn't an apple, what fruit was it, girl? Was it?
Yeah.
Was it?
That's a good one.
Like, what was it? What was
That's a
going
good
on?
one. Yeah.
I want to see the fruit. Actually, I want her to bring the fruit to the dinner so I can see what it was because it had to have been something that was we defying
That's
God
good.
now.
That's
You
a
know,
good.
like, I think Eve would be my
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, like Eve would be my
Also,
choice.
thanks.
'Cause
I got some questions.
I got
I'm
some
curious.
questions,
I'm
you know,
curious.
and also just
Yeah.
first woman in general, like
Mhm.
kind of like I know what I'm struggling with, and I'm like what
Mhm.
8,065,092, in the lineup
Yeah.
of women out here, like she was number one. So like, girl,
Yeah.
what was it like?
I feel you on that. Yeah. That's
She didn't have
good.
no Midol or
Hmm.
no Advil back in the day, but I just want to know what was like again, just
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. I've always said that I wanted to. Like my dinner would be with Joseph because
okay, okay,
because I would tell him about my dreams and I was like, man,
nice, okay, okay,
my dreams be keeping me up. I be
yeah.
tossing and turning. I got some real. I need to start writing movies or something. Dreams and using them as scripts.
People with
That'd be
no pen by the bed, okay.
yeah. But we got some comments saying Ruth. That's a good one too.
So
That's
that
actually that's who I thought you were gonna say actually.
that was my like if I didn't pick Eve, I was like,
Yeah.
Eve, I got a
That's who I
question.
thought you were
Yeah,
gonna say. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Mine would be Joseph, and then I think after him, immediately I want to say like David or
Okay.
Peter. Peter, just because that, that's my dog. Peter, that's my dog. He wrote.
Honestly, anybody that was at the market when Jesus was flipping over them tables, I want their personal account of what was
That's
going on. I want
yo,
to talk to
yo, really, yeah, yeah. If
like
there were any biblical story that you wish that you could be there to attend to have seen with your own eyes, do you have one?
oh the fire, the fourth man in the fire,
Yeah.
like I definitely Meshach, Radshach,
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I'm trying to
yeah,
see,
yeah.
the figure. Okay, not that I don't believe it, because I definitely
That's
like
good.
that is one of
Yeah.
my favorite Bible stories. But like being there, just having that sheer willingness to not obey, I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like God got me.
Yeah,
And
right.
like how inspirational was that? Like
Stand
God
on
got him,
business.
like
Yeah.
you co-signing in the background while they're getting in the fire, like that is, and also like me knowing what's gonna happen. I'm like, they finna go in this fire, and
That's true. Yeah,
like
yeah.
like they are gonna be fine. God got them. So yeah,
They stood on business. Yeah, mine definitely would be, and this, definitely for the fun sake, but mine would be when Jesus turned the fish into plenty. Yeah, no, it'd be the fish. Yeah, yeah, because I want one, I want to know how he cooked fish. I want to know was it sauteed? Did he fry it?
you know,
What do you do? You
Russell in
know,
this powder.
I'm just turn bread. Hey,
Yeah, I'm with you.
what season? What's Ooh, yeah. I want to know
Black.
what Jesus, Jesus, he was a carpenter. He was miracles. I'm trying to know what his
He
chef
was
man was
whipping
like.
it up. whipping it up. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know Jesus was
Took a
Salt
little.
Bay. Come on,
Yeah.
I know it. No, no, not serious though, but
No, I think that's a good one too. That's,
mm-hmm. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Well, it is now 8 o'clock, and we're concluding this. Thank you again so much, Taria. It was amazing having you here. Had a really, really good time.
Yeah.
Just talking and just having a good time, right? Talking about journeys and
Yeah.
talking that walk with Christ. Thank you again. We hope to have you on the episode again. Soon here in the future. We'll make it happen. And again, for everyone else, thank you all for joining us. We
Thanks.
always love to have you. Yes, we look forward to having you again for our next episode. And again, this is another one from Touching You Podcast. We love you all and have a great night. Peace.
Bye.